What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Movie Reviews You Didn't Ask For. And as always, spoilers ahead.
So the midnight after. It was interesting to say the least. Directed by Fruit Chan, so you already know it's gonna be a wild and bumpy ride. It has a myriad of actors, which you can see here. Flash it really fast. And my thoughts on this film is that this whole movie had the feel that it's just a mix of metaphors, both political and human. And it kind of reminded me of like a drunk old guy telling you stories of his childhood or of all the fun stuff he used to do when he was a kid. Just all over the place, random stories that didn't really fit together. And from not knowing anything about the film, I didn't know it was a horror comedy movie. I just thought it was a straight horror film. So minutes into the film, it took me by surprise. But that was not bad. It was not something I would say was negative about the film. It actually made the whole movie that much more interesting. The movie can definitely be cut down. It's like 2 hours long, or 2 hours and a minute long, or something like that. But it can definitely be cut down. There are sequences in the movie that could be taken out that were really irrelevant, and the film would not have lost momentum. You wouldn't have lost any pertinent information or any kind of character development in the film. Another major theme that I noticed in this film was the theme of death, or being lost or cast out of something, whether it was the group in the film that was taken out of their comfort zones, taken out of society, just being lost or separated within their own world, which is kind of like a human nightmare, because everybody wants to belong, right? You want to have a group, you want to have that social construct. You can also kind of pick up that how every character's actions or overreactions are kind of mirrored in a political theme, because there are sometimes, well, especially recently, where you will see on the news of someone doing something and then there's a complete overreaction for, breaking this specific law, but it could be something else and the result is a slap on the wrist or freaking house arrest. Yep, you know what I'm talking about. And just overall is an allusion to the chaotic nature of politics. And overall is just an allusion to the chaotic nature that is society and politics. So another big thing that I noticed, and it's kind of a negative thing, but if this was the intended point, then you pick up on it and you would understand it. But there were a lot of questions within the movie, kind of like little side things that if you kept in mind and you're waiting for the issue to be resolved or answered, it never does. You get introduced to a lot of different scenarios and problems, but there's no answer to why it happened or what happened. It just is there, and there's no answer. Movie ends. It's frustrating watching it at first, but rewatching it and kind of being more open to it and knowing what's happening and trying to find a different way to view the film, I saw it as a political theme as well, because it's how we're introduced to issues in the news about either ourselves or the world, and how instead of those issues being resolved, some of those issues, some major issues, are swept aside and replaced with another issue or another question without ever answering or coming back to the initial question that was asked. So it's that culture of just new problem, and forgetting about the old one and never getting that closure, and it's pretty frustrating. But enough about the stuff I don't like. What I did like was a freaking interesting musical number that turned the tide of the film for me, from when I thought it was a horror film to knowing that it's a horror comedy film. And that is they're inside this restaurant and they're trying to decipher what's a Morse code that's coming in through their phones. So they put in a little So they look it up. They use a computer to kind of translate Morse code into Word. And what's coming through are the lyrics to Space Oddity by David Bowie.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. And the papers want to know.
And to convince the people that he knows that it's a song, one of the characters breaks out into like this musical number. And it's very interesting to say the least. It's just a mind trip. And then yeah, after watching that, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely a comedy. It's definitely a comedy. But other than that, this film was interesting. Like I said earlier, very, very interesting. There's probably more themes and more deeper insights that I wasn't able to catch on, but I don't want to watch that movie again. It's a long movie. It starts out pretty slow, picks up, and then you're just like, okay, well, I'm this far in, might as well finish it. But overall, I would say at least watch this movie once, just to kind of get a feel for it. And if you're Fruit Chan fans, yeah, check it out. It's really awesome. And I'm gonna have to rate this movie like a 2 out of 5, because it's a little upsetting, especially for just a casual viewer. But if you're looking for themes and looking for development in the film, you'll definitely find themes. You'll find slight character development, but overall, it's just a wild ride. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time on the movie reviews you didn't ask for with Dolphin Thief Productions. Bye.